Hello, today I'm going to rehearse the reasons why I've quit certain online services because I figured out after I started my journey on this, people would ask me like, "Oh, why did you do that?" And I would think to myself, well, I don't know. I just have quite bad memory sometimes, so I often forget the reasons why I do things. So basically, I have tried to de-Google myself. I'm still using some of its services, but I am slowly trying to get rid of Google from my life. Same thing with Amazon, which I've been doing for a while. I mean, it's quite easy to do that, but we'll get into a bit more of why actually it's pretty hard to do that. And then also, I stopped using Spotify and Instagram and like generative AI and chatbots. So, why did I stop using Google, or why do I want to stop supporting Google? Why have I de-Googlified myself? Number one, basically, today I did all my research on why all of these companies and services are bad. And now I'm going to rehearse it as if I was talking to someone who asked me why I did that. So, the next time someone will do that in real life, I will know what to say. So, why did I de-Googlify my life? Number one, Google is a monopoly. Let me just refer to my notes here. It has created a monopoly and has even been alleged to violate competition law. You see that? It's illegal. Monopolizing, okay, and then I just go into why a monopoly is bad. Monopolizing makes it the only option for consumers, meaning they can control the market, change any price they want. What the hell? Does that make sense? Reduce quality and limit choices without fear of losing customers. Okay, yes, that all makes sense. I'm just trying to also process it as I read it, because sometimes I just read things and I'm not actually thinking about them. This is all written down on a doc, by the way. This is my notes. This is my research that I have put down into my own words and such. Monopolies are created because of companies' greed, power, control, and manipulation. These companies are not looking out for its consumers and do not care about destruction. They only want money. So there you go. That's the first reason why Google is bad, because it's a monopoly and they're power hungry and they don't care about anything but profit. Secondly, privacy. Google's privacy change in 2012 enables the company to share data across a wide variety of services and third-party companies to make money. So, same kind of thing. They're using our data that they've harvested and, well, selling it for profit. This can discourage innovation and make internet users more fearful online. All of the Google services we use, which is a lot, daily, is all monitored and this information is sold to generate significant revenue. Well, there you go. Easy as that. Project Nimbus. This is the third reason why Google is evil. Project Nimbus, a contract signed by Google and Amazon to provide cloud computing and AI services to the Israeli government and military. This tech has been reported to have facial recognition and data collection capabilities. Yes. Employees have voiced concern about how this technology might be used to enable further surveillance on... Oh, there goes my vegan nugget timer. I'll be right back. So yes, Project Nimbus could be bad, and the Israeli government and military could be using it. Employees have voiced concern about how this technology might be used to enable further surveillance on Palestinians and unlawful data collection on them, as well as facilitate the expansion of illegal Israeli settlements. Google has silenced and fired employees who have protested against this. So yes, there has been evidence that Google has sent a person away who has voiced their concerns about this. They were like, they gave them an ultimatum that was like, either you go away here, we're gonna send you to South America, like now, or you lose your job. So yeah, that was interesting. And again, just another thing that is kind of driven by profit. Project Nimbus, everyone remember that. Fourthly, why Google is evil is because of its integration of AI into everything. It's like pushing Gemini into everyone's fucking throats and you can't escape it now. And well, I will get into why AI is bad just in a second. Just you wait. And its integration of AI into everything, plus its potential general data protection regulation violations. So I think there is Irish, law is looking into this right now because Gemini and like Google's whole AI system may be violating this legislation that protects data. So yeah, take with that what you will. Okay, and other reasons, some runners up, or no, some honorable mentions here. Manipulation and control of flow of information, yes. Censorship of search results, for example, assisting the Chinese government in repressing its citizens. Thirdly, Google Shopping promotes monopolization. I think I just made that word. Well, maybe, I don't know. So like other businesses can't really compete with people who are like who Google are pushing to the top because, well, it's all about advertising, isn't it? If you pay, then you can get to the top, and other businesses who aren't as rich are pushed to the bottom and can't compete. Next up is criticism of Google working conditions, practices, and ethics. I don't know too much about that, but you can only assume that they aren't treating many employees as they might, and I think there's also they try to what's the word block unionization. I think I read that. Tax avoidance, obviously, Google CEO supports Trump. He was back there with all of the other oligarchs, Elon Musk and such, at Trump's inauguration. So yeah, I mean, why would I want to be associated with someone who is proud to be associated with Trump? And then, last and not least, is the environmental impacts. I think a lot of tech companies will be battling with this. So it's not like a super big one for the Google. I mean, it is a super big one in the bigger picture. But if we're looking at Google specifically, that's just like a given, you know. Okay, so why am I? Well, okay. So next up is why am I not using Amazon anymore? Well, it comes down to some similar reasons to the Google shenanigan. Well, first of all, is the monopoly. And, you know, most importantly, that is what it is. It is the second largest business in the world. Oh. Again, this means it is a power and money-hungry company that only cares about profit, similarly to Google. Amazon controls the market and has marginalized many small independent businesses. I think this is probably the reason why most people would want to boycott Amazon, is because it is everything that is wrong with capitalism and the ever-growing gap between the rich and the poor. Despite being the second richest company in the world, Amazon is an aggressive tax avoider. In 2023, the UK lost over 433 million from Amazon's tax avoidance. Money that the UK could have been using to support the NHS and, well, you know, other good stuff. Also, despite Jeff Bezos getting richer, earning millions of dollars a day, his employees earn a pittance. And sorry, the mic probably went crazy then. And they earn a pittance and work under conditions that violate workers' rights. We've all heard of this. How Amazon employees have had to like stand for 9 hours on end and pee into a bottle. I mean, that's the famous one, isn't it? Okay, and also similarly to Google, again they've blocked unionization and such. And secondly, why Amazon is evil? Yes, the environment. We all knew it was coming. Here we go. And why is the environment affected by Amazon? Because it sells services to fossil fuel companies, first of all. And then Amazon uses outrageous methods to falsify its emissions and greenwash. Yeah, they tell porky pies. As a funny side note, it was said to have stated that it was making oil companies more efficient as part of their sustainability work. So, can you just imagine how stupid that sounds? Let me say it again. It was said to have stated, let me restate that again. Amazon was said to have stated that it was making oil companies more efficient as part of their sustainability work. Hello! Next up, it sponsored an event held by an institute well known for spreading climate denial and misinformation, and supports lobbying against environmental protection laws. Need I say more? Yes. Amazon destroys hundreds of thousands of unsold stock every day to keep costs low, because destroying all of this unsold, expired stock will basically be cheaper than stocking it or keeping it in storage. So they just get rid of it all. Get rid of it, put it in a landfill, burn it, whatever. And it has been heavily investing in AI and data centers that consume vast amounts of power. Again, the AI thing, well, we all know. I mean, we're about to know later on when I get onto AI why that is bad. Well, I guess I just said yes, it consumes a vast amount of power, and, well, let's go to the next point. Yeah, I mean, generally, Amazon is just, kind of boosting / what's the word now? It's like really, I don't know, we'll come back to that word later, but it promotes overconsumption in general. Overconsumption is a really bad problem in our society now. No one cares about objects and owning things, and everyone just wants cheap, and no one cares about repairing things. So, and everyone has an addiction to shopping. Bitches be shopping, and it's also normalizing throwaway culture, i.e., producing and buying cheap, disposable, low-quality products. Buy and throw, and kids love little plastic toys that they get bored of within a few hours, and then the mum has to buy them more, and well, it's an ever-continuing cycle. So that's bad. And then next point is Amazon's got questionable data practices, and some other honorable mentions here. AWS, which is the Amazon. Well, I've forgotten it now. Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services. That could be it. But it's basically like a hosting type of a service. So anyway, this AWS provides services to Project Nimbus, as we said before, which is the evil cloud computing service that provides tech and stuff to the Israeli military for potential surveillance unlawfully on Palestinians. Anyway, so yeah, it provides services to Project Nimbus and to Palantir. Hello. It upholds everything that is wrong with capitalism, as I already said. Address. Oh yeah, this is something I need to address. Well, the problem of AWS, Amazon Web Services, or maybe it's something else, I'm not entirely sure, is something that is more difficult to tackle as lots of services are hosted by it, such as Reddit, Netflix, Disney, etc., making boycotting a little bit harder, which is unfortunate, but I guess we've got to be mindful of overusing or giving money to companies that may be using AWS, which is hard because it's like being vegan. You got to look at all the ingredients. You can't just tell just by looking at it, Got to put more effort and energy into it, which not everybody has. It is completely understandable. Okay, we're moving on to the next company. Okay, and thirdly, what is the third evil corporation in my mind? Spotify. Why is Spotify bad? Firstly, poor artist pay. Spotify pays royalties based on market share, number of streams for their songs as a proportion of total. Basically, normally artists get paid based off of royalties. Spotify doesn't do that. Spotify uses this thing called market share, which is basically, well, they get paid through the number of streams for their songs as a proportion of total songs streamed on the service, which I don't fully understand, but it sounds a little bit stupid if you're an artist, coming from an artist's perspective. Secondly, why is there poor artist pay? Because of the free tier. Music for free. The free tier. Why is it bad? Because it undermines the value of the music and of the work that the artists have put into this art. Record labels and right holders get most money. Yes, well, this is the same with a lot of music streaming services though, but that is why I'm resorting to buying albums directly from the artist. Secondly, Spotify is bad because they do this thing called pay for play, where labels can pay to put songs on popular playlists and on like Spotify. You know how Spotify has those playlists where it's like happy vintage vibes or whatever. People can pay to put their song on there, so it's kind of unfair. And thirdly, Spotify has had security breaches and controversial privacy policy moves. That's just kind of like a side note. I don't mind too much about that, but fourthly, well, it has AI features just like all the other things in life now. And then fifthly, it someone in the higher ups, possibly one of the CEOs or something like that, or equivalent. Well, now I'm not being very sure with my reasoning. Maybe I should just say that Spotify funds this thing. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll think about that. If you have thought about whether I should be sure about this point, or it's okay to be a little more vague, leave a comment below and I'll take that into account. And the point is here, Spotify funds a defense company that develops military strike drones and AI systems. Again, what's with the war, people? Make love, not music. I mean, war. this is now another point, algorithm-based listening makes you care less about music. And this is so true, because once I started buying my albums and listening to things that I've kind of like made a big decision about owning. Like, I thought this through and I thought, yes, I'm going to spend money on this. Like, I made those choices and decisions, and ever since then, I've been enjoying listening to music more, and I've been wanting to listen to music more. Like, it's reignited a spark inside of me, because before then, I wasn't listening to music at all for months, even though I had Spotify, because I would just be like either listening to Discover Weekly or, I don't know, just like using the algorithm, which I'll come on to in a second. Well, no, actually, no, I won't. That was a lie. I guess it's this point already that I'm talking about. But, yeah, I guess, how do I explain this? Maybe it's because there's so many songs on Spotify that you are kind of, maybe this is partly it and partly something else, but I guess I felt like I was a bit overwhelmed with choice in a way. Like, I wanted to listen to so many different things, and like listening to Discover Weekly, I would kind of gloss over, and obviously you're not very attached to the music that plays on playlists like those, so yeah, I guess it felt kind of like I just really didn't care in a way about it. I'm finding this hard to explain, but I can feel it deep in my bones, so that's all that matters. Last point about Spotify is that, it's a subscription service. A lot of people aren't very into subscription services lately, because everything's turning into subscription service. No one's owning anything anymore for themselves. And, as you're just renting things, it can be taken away at any time. Like, you don't own it. It's not yours. You don't have anything. You don't own anything. And, buying and owning feels more physical and grounded. That's all I could write about that, because I didn't really know how to expand on that point. I wasn't sure how to logically and physically expand on that point. I could only add to it based on what I feel about it and what I think others feel also. Okay, fourth evil item on the list: generative AI, ChatGPT, chatbots. Well, this is near and dear to my heart right now, because I'm getting scared that one of my relatives is falling into AI psychosis, or nearing it. And you know what? I should switch backgrounds. So a lot of people already know why ChatGPT and generative AI and chatbots and that are just like language models are bad. But here we go to reiterate. Number one, people's lack of understanding with it leads to misinformation and dependence and mental problems like psychosis, as I just mentioned. It also promotes echo chambers and propaganda, as we've seen with the whole American shit going on. You just don't know what's real and what's not, and people get preyed on that are vulnerable. They can fall into these pits and believe things that are not real, and people get worried about them, people get swayed by them, vote for the wrong person, the world goes to shit, etc. Secondly, this is the obvious one with ChatGPT and Midjourney and all of that sort of thing. Intellectual property issues. Yes, data, art, writing, imagery, stolen, without permission. Again, creating something parallel to a monopoly, which we've already talked about, and know very well why that is bad. Where monopoly, where individuals and smaller businesses are undermined, people can't compete. AI generation, content making with AI is cheaper, quicker, hassle-free, easier. Why would you choose to go through all of the trouble of getting an artist and paying thousands of pounds and waiting all that time and having to do this back and forth that is grueling, and you have to socialize and deal with repercussions of criticism and stuff like that, when you can just get AI to do it so much easier. But that's bad. We don't want to promote that. Support people, everybody. Say it with me. Next up, tech companies' involvement with government, surveillance, military, etc. Palantir, OpenAI. As we said, they're complicit in the genocide. They're complicit in controlling people, surveilling people. Soon, we will not have freedom of movement. I don't know what that means. I redact that. Okay, next up, yes, it makes us even more mindless and reliant on tech, with studies saying that it is replacing critical thinking. Already, what the crap? Even on a small scale, I have experienced the addiction or reliance that people already have with AI. People already can't do things they were able to do before without the support of AI. Like writing emails and such. And God, I just know so many people who like use AI every day, and they ask it things that you can just Google, or yeah, like fucking writing messages and stuff like that. It's so easy to become addicted to it and reliant on it, which I think I already said, but it's because well, it's convenient and makes your life well, better in a quick way. You don't have to put in the work, I guess is what I'm saying. You can just let someone else do the work, and it'll be so much better than if you had taken like however long it would have taken you, longer than a chat. Anyway, okay, and well, yes, generative AI and ChatGPT. Well, all AI services are environmentally horrible because servers require significant amounts of energy and water. And AI will be driving the climate crisis soon. Who knows? There you go. Okay, here's a bonus one actually. Airbnb and Booking.com. I've tried to stop using them. It's pretty hard because there aren't any good alternatives, but now I've just been going on Booking.com or Airbnb, and if I find something that I like, I type it in to search engine and see if they have their own website or listing elsewhere. So why am I avoiding them? Because they profit from illegal Israeli settlements on occupied Palestinian and Syrian land. And well, that's the end of my list. And I'm just going to go into a little bit about what triggered all this. Basically, I have been analyzing my values. And I've been thinking, I'm not very active in my life. I'm kind of passive. I consume, and I don't really think about all the stuff that I am being a little bit ignorant about. I'm vegetarian who doesn't eat much dairy or eggs, using as little animal products as possible. And well, I guess I felt it was kind of a cognitive dissonance for me to scrutinize the way I was contributing to environmental and ethical harm in one kind of sector of life, so food, but not all of the others. And I thought, well, I can do this. So yeah, this is what I thought, that I wanted to be more active in my usage and consumption decisions. And I wanted to be mindful of how passivity can go against my values. Similarly to being vegan, these micro actions are a form of activism or protest. By boycotting certain companies and sharing awareness, you are, even if in a small way, taking power away from these companies and not being complicit, a way to combat cognitive dissonance, as I said. I know I am still using companies like Apple and Meta and such, which is a form of cognitive dissonance, but I am not supporting these companies near as much as I'm supporting Google, Spotify, and Amazon. I've minimized my use of them and plan to minimize even more in the future. Well, I hoped I learned a lot from that, and that now I can talk to my colleagues about why I have quit Spotify and not freeze up. If anyone is watching this, I please welcome any criticism and any knowledge that anyone has in regards to this, whether I'm being ignorant about anything or whether I'm doing anything wrong. Please let me know. Goodbye.